everyone. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if it's your first time. It's the end of November, going into December. We just passed Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and it was time to sort of pause and reflect over things that we are thankful for, things that we're grateful for, celebrating giving thanks and paying gratitude. Yeah, it's a good time to sit and think about those things and maybe assess them too. What kind of things are you thankful for? Hello, Red Wing. I'm thankful for all of you, the tarot community, and anybody else who's not in the tarot community that happens to tune in and watch here. But I'm thankful for all my supportive friends. I'm thankful for tarot cards and tarot as a system. Today we're going to look at some cards, and depending on how many people show up, I'm going to draw cards for people and in order to help them focus on what they might be thankful for. So this could be fun, could be interesting. We're thankful when we sit down at the dinner table on Thanksgiving for family and or friends. Hello, Rolf. And for the food on the table that we have. Sometimes we think about what we lack or what we don't have, but everybody's got something. Even if it feels like we've got nothing, we've got something. And it's that time to sort of like sit and be thankful for that. We've got life. We've got the air we breathe into our lungs that gives us life. If we only have that, we have that. We're thankful for that. Most of us have a roof over our heads. We have a place to sleep at night. We have some degree of food to put on the table, even if it's not a feast. If you're hungry and you have something, it feels like a feast. So there's something to be thankful for. This year I had an invitation to a Thanksgiving dinner, and it was really nice. It got a little late in starting. It was a nice group of friends, and one of my friends hosted, and she did all the cooking, and she's a little older than me. And I'm so grateful and thankful for her. And it was very sweet of her to invite me. I usually spend Thanksgiving these past few years alone and either go to a movie or just straight to a restaurant and, pick whatever I want to eat, which is, I actually enjoy, because I'm kind of a loner hermit kind of type. And I like having those choices. Hello, Brianne. Yeah. So yeah, I went and I got to join friends and meet a couple of new people, and it was nice. They actually had me do some readings for them, and I kind of was not in the mood, but thankful that I was able to manage it, and thankful that they seemed to get something out of it and appreciated it. That was nice. The dinner, the food was great. Part of me tends to go to fussy little things. We tend to all kind of complain about the things we don't have instead of appreciating what we do have. And the food was not warm. The dinner was cold because of the ages of all of us and all of us chatting away and the time it took to get it on the table. And I was tempted to complain, but I thought, no, this is time to appreciate the work that went into it and the company I'm keeping. And, even though the meal would be better hot, even though the food was cold, it was still flavorful and tasty. And I was thankful for the time and effort it took my hostess to prepare it, and for her to invite me, to be with other people and spend that time. So it was good. And there's a new person in my life that I'm sort of developing a relationship with. And I went to his house after dinner for the first time, and we had a lovely evening. And I stayed over there because it was really cold outside and didn't feel like going home. So these were things I was all thankful for and appreciate. So I want you all, if you haven't already, to think about things that you can be thankful for, grateful for, express gratitude for. You might have done this already when we went around the Thanksgiving table. And I think this is often a tradition where people will ask you, what are you thankful for this year? And people take their turns expressing that. And I'm carrying that on into this weekend, and at least until tomorrow when we shift over to December, and then we're in a kind of a different mindset. But today's November 30th. It's the last day of November, and I think we can still hold on to Thanksgiving Day thoughts of what we can give thanks for and what we feel grateful for and gratitude for. So as I said, I'm going to pull cards. I'm going to pull a card for each of you. I'm volunteering you. If you particularly want a card pulled, let me know. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. You're getting a card anyway. Because there's only 3 of you here so that I can see. So I don't have a lot of people to choose from. Maybe I'll start with myself. And I'm using my favorite Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is a standard one, but one that a friend of mine customized for me personally and told me about. It's not available at this point, but it's a really good one. It's very vintagey looking. So for myself, oh my goodness, I got the Devil. And you think, what about the Devil would make you thankful? Well, when I look at the Devil, I think of temptation, and I think of temptation to maybe enter into or do things that are not particularly beneficial to me or other people around me. Some of you might say, well, that's what you're doing right now. You're reading cards for us, and we didn't ask for it. But what this does is the Devil, when I think about giving thanks to the Devil, it's more about thanks to be able to recognize what temptations are not in my best interest and which ones sort of lean towards my baser impulses and which ones not to engage in. Adjust my table a little bit. Is that better? I had a little glare on one of those pictures earlier, which is why I tilted things a bit. So I'm thankful that I am generally able to recognize and separate the good from the bad and go towards the things I need as opposed to the things I want, and to able to choose, make the right choices, the good choices, the things that keep me centered and grounded and balanced. So that's my thankfulness, my gratitude for even the devil card. I go to Red Wing. Red Wing, I have the 9 of Cups. This looks like someone very satisfied at a feast or at a bar. We don't know whether those cups are waiting to be filled or all filled, but the potential is there for all that one needs. And that's something to be thankful for. To be able to know and realize you have the potential to emotionally fulfill yourself with all these cups, to reach a degree of satisfaction, self-satisfaction, emotionally, in everything that you've tried to do or accomplished, or those around you that have extended you some kind of comfort or affection or caring quality. You know, all your friends gathered around you, self-care, the efforts you make to extend yourself emotionally to others. You know, the ability to do that when you can, that's something to be thankful for, something to be grateful for. Rolf, you have the 2 of Wands. You've got the whole world in your hands. You've got places to go, things to do, things to see. You're early in your journey. You have passion and compassion for things out there in the world that will help you learn and grow. Lots of experiences ahead of you. These are things to be thankful for and grateful for, that you've got a life and a life path ahead of you. Brianne, you've got the 5 of Pentacles. The 5 of Pentacles is often somebody needy or unfortunate, less fortunate, but there's also light in the window. There's a sort of an acknowledgement that you have a warm place to go, or you have people that you can go to and depend on when you need some degree of comfort. There's always some place to go, some place to get out of the cold and get into and find warmth and camaraderie. Sometimes it's just here in the tarot universe, you know, online. Or sometimes it's a peaceful, quiet place where you can hear the snow fall. Yeah. And you may have struggles, but you'll overcome them. You have the power and the strength to overcome them. They'll keep you going. You'll find comfort. Feel the gratitude that keeps you going. Red Wing, thank you. I'm thankful for my friends and living situation with freedom to engage in art projects and such like. Brianne says, Happy Thanksgiving from Canada. Brianne says, that's interesting, Robin. Thank you. Yeah, if you want to list things that you're thankful for beyond these cards, feel free to in the chat. And if there's anybody that would like a more extensive reading, the chat's not too crowded and I can do that. Or if you want to share some thoughts or ideas with me, we'll kind of mull them over. I don't have anything particularly great on the agenda this week. And maybe what I'll do is I'll pull a card from my deck. One of the things that discovering tarot did for me and made me thankful and grateful for is the idea or the notion that I wanted to create, as an artist, I wanted to create my own tarot deck and to help myself discover what tarot was all about for me and my relationship to it. So I did. I doodled off some images. Most of you know, probably the shortest and quickest tarot ever created. It's a majors only deck called the Open Face Tarot. It's only got 22 cards. 23 actually. I think I put in an extra sort of a significator. And I doodled it in 4 hours, and then I scanned and tweaked some images and then uploaded it and ordered it, and a couple weeks later I had it. And I did it, worked it through MPC, MakePlayingCards.com. And I'm very happy with it, and I'm very thankful for it. I use it as a daily guide. I look at these cards every day, and they help guide me on the right path, or if I veered off, sort of like redirect me to the right path. Brianne says, I love your comment, listening to the snow. I don't know if you have snow where you are. I don't know where you are, but if you do, enjoy it. I don't think we've got it here yet. It's sunny today, but it was very chilly. It was in the mid-30s last night with a higher wind chill, and I wondered whether we might have a few flurries. So let's see. Oh, I love this card. This is the Empress. Oh, for me, this is the comfort card, or one of two comfort cards in the major arcana. She's always depicted in a large, cushy throne. It's so comfortable and comforting. She's always nurturing. I think that's probably one of the things I look for most in my life. Maybe others do too, sort of trying to find comfort. I'm always looking for the easy chair, the big cushy one, the lounger, or a bed, somewhere soft, with lots of blankets and pillows. Excuse me. I think I might have the hiccups. Yeah. I always feel like I can take a sigh of relief and a deep breath when I get the Empress card. It's not so much of a challenge. It's like, okay, you can relax, you can deep breathe deep, and I'm going to take care of you. You know, your inner self or your higher self will take care of you. Rolf says, thank you, and you gave me a great reading some live videos ago regarding procrastinating. Oh. Well, I hope you were able to wade through that or sort through that. Let's see. Maybe we talk a little bit about that topic, procrastination. Let's do a little bit of a reflection on procrastination. In terms of finding calm and comfort, I'm consciously trying to speak to you calmly and clearly and slow down. Lately, I often find myself short of breath, continuing to speak with or to or at people around me to make all my thoughts clear and make them known. And it doesn't always work to anyone's advantage. Sometimes it's better to take a pause, take a moment, and just breathe and think. We don't always have to be talking. Now, here in the tarot universe, though, or I should say YouTube universe, where you've got a live channel with no editing, and you've got an audience watching or listening in, if they listen to this like a podcast, don't generally, as a form of entertainment, want a lot of dead, silent space. So the tendency, and my tendency, is to try to find something to fill dead airspace. Sometimes I plan and have questions or topics to go through. Sometimes I don't. I'm trying to learn to get a little bit better at improvising. So I'm looking to see what comes to mind or what people bring up in the chat and see where that leads. Because for these 1 single hours on Saturday that I'm with you, it seemed to be continuing to do lately, I'm trying to fill the hour. So feels almost like I'm procrastinating in terms of getting to this reading. Hello, SCB. So, procrastination. For procrastination, I get the High Priestess. The High Priestess is all about intuition, and I'm following your intuition as your guidance. And I think that's both something we can also be thankful for and find gratitude for, but also intuition often can tell you when it's time to get up off your seat and go pursue that thing that you've been procrastinating about. Your intuition will give you cues. How long is too long to sit there and consider things, and time to actually take knight-like action, get on the horse and go. That's a nice quality, I think, that the High Priestess has. We don't want to rush it. Procrastination is not rushing it, it's just the opposite. So when we sit and pause and consider things, we wait for impulses and influences to come in. We consult our consciousness and our unconsciousness, and we open ourselves to seemingly random influences that come in. That High Priestess can relate to improvisation too. I think we use intuition when we improvise. I think maybe if the High Priestess gets too analytical in terms of what she intuits, then she almost becomes the Hierophant. That's something to think about. So I don't know, Rolf. I don't know how you dealt with procrastination or what the situation was. I can't recall the reading specifics, but I'm hoping that the High Priestess and intuition helped you through that situation, whatever it was. Or maybe it's something you're still working on. See if she can help you find your way, where to go next, when to go, how to get there. Anybody else have any thoughts or notions they'd like to discuss or contemplate, appreciate, be thankful for, express gratitude? Gratitude's not a word I use very often. It's not even a concept that I think about. I think maybe as I'm getting older, I experience both more misery and difficulty and more gratitude for blessings. So when things come to me, if I'm not in pain or dis-ease, if I'm not suffering, it's easier for me to express gratitude. I think it's probably quite a challenge to express gratitude if you happen to be suffering or in pain or in some degree of need. I'm going to just do a little spread here to talk about. Just a little 3-card spread. It's weird. I don't know why I feel a little bit like I'm summoning Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross today. I'm not usually so calm or unnervous or uncaring in terms of the content I present. Oh, sorry for my sniffles. I am kind of determined to try to fill the hour for you with something, because I could just call it a day and cut short this stream, but I feel almost like I've obligated myself to do a weekly live stream. And there's part of me that actually, as much as I appreciate all of you that are here, I appreciate that my streams are not overly crowded. So I don't feel full of anxiety or tendency to rush and fill everybody else's needs or try to accomplish things. Let's see. SCB, I lost 2 loved ones this year, so I'm really thankful for the few close ones I have in my life. Yeah, and you can be thankful for the memories that you have of those loved ones, those ones who have passed. Rolf, I'm still writing my essay, but your reading got me starting again with new power. That's good. Brianne, I'm totally enjoying all your sharing. Thank you, Brianne. And thank you, everybody, for hanging around. Tell your friends to come by and join us. I'm a terrible marketer and self-promoter. I do post stuff there, but I think it's going to take a long time for and a lot of repetition for any kind of algorithm or audience to pick up. I mean, I've done so many other streams before, but I used to do, excuse me, one live a month. And then it got to the point where when it came up, I kind of dreaded it. I just kind of wasn't in the mood on the day that I was doing a live stream, and I felt compelled to do it anyway, and the energy wasn't right. So then I just started doing them whenever I felt passionate about something to talk about. I'd go and do a live. And I don't know when, a couple months ago maybe, I started doing these 1 hour Saturday lives. I think I had something in particular I wanted to present. And then I had a couple other ideas to follow up on consecutive Saturdays. And now it's just kind of become sort of a routine on Saturdays. Don't ever feel obligated. It's lovely to hear your honesty whenever the mood takes you. Yeah. So I'm going to look at cards. Oh, this is nice. Very nice. I'm sure I've mentioned before that when I do readings, I generally do 3-card readings, and I work from the center card out. The center card's my first card, and then I go to the left and then the right. And I've always sort of felt that the self, myself, reading for myself, or anybody else actually, the focus is central. The person or the question being discussed is at the center of a situation. And all the cards that surround that are the surrounding or enfolding energy to that center card. So I've just kind of always done that. Rarely do I go from left to right. Well, I'll read it from left to right, but the notion is there that the focus, the main focus of the energy is that center card. And this is really nice that all you guys are here with me today. It's kind of like this is a family card. It's the 10 of Pentacles. And you guys are all my family. And you're all with me here. And there's something really nice, really fulfilling. And I'm not a Kabbalah person, but the Kabbalah reference here is in the coins arrangement is the tree of life. And your family is the tree of life for you. You have your roots and your branches reach out in many directions. Continue reaching, like your arms and fingers and toes. The toes on your feet lead you walking to new places. The fingers on your hands help you use tools and turn pages in books to read and learn things. Shake hands of new people you meet and engage with and interact with. Pick up on new ideas and things. Yeah. The 10 of Pentacles. The family card. I'm grateful for all the family I have. My biological family is reduced to my younger sister, her granddaughter, and her daughter, her great-granddaughter. No, I got that wrong. I'm jumping ahead. My mom is coming in. My sister, her daughter, and her daughter's daughter. So that's her granddaughter, not a great-granddaughter. My sister's 3 years younger than me, and they live in Pennsylvania, where I grew up. And we don't really communicate too much, a little bit over the phone every once in a while, but we don't see each other anymore. So I have kind of a new family in New York and online with all of you. So the center of my spread here is the 10 of Pentacles, which is about family and family connections. The first card, or the opening card, is the 3 of Pentacles, which is collaboration. Excuse me. And I feel here and now, by doing live streams, I'm collaborating with all of you. Hello, Jane. Welcome. Yeah, I appreciate all of you being here and chatting with me and helping me collaborate with you, helping me create this live stream, helping me find things to discuss and share with you, and pick up your ideas and share them with other people. And the last card, or the third card, is the Wheel of Fortune. You never know what you're going to get. What's the Tom Hanks movie? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. That's the same with cards and with questions. People want readings for their questions. You never know what that question's going to be, what someone needs a little help with, a little bit of support. When you shuffle the cards, you never know what cards are going to come up. When the cards come up, you never know what symbols you're going to see in the cards, or how you're going to relate to them, how you're going to find ways to express that to the people searching for answers. They're looking for answers, and you're looking for answers for them, and the cards are trying to help you to find the answers. It's just a nice thing. I tend to often devalue the Wheel of Fortune card. It feels almost meaningless to me. It's kind of, anything goes. Whatever, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. It doesn't feel like it supplies me with a lot, but maybe it's a reminder that the answers aren't always there, or aren't always readily accessible, and that any spin of the wheel or dial, turn of the dial, will bring something up that can become an answer for you. Maybe it is about thankfulness and gratitude, embracing the world, embracing possibilities that come to us, and figuring out how to process them, how to deal with them. Hello, Ange. Welcome. Everybody's drifting in slowly to the party. For all of you guys to know, I am, or have been, doing regular Saturdays at 12:05, and I give you 55 minutes to an hour each week. So if you want to know in the future, I think, shall I commit? I'm trying. I'm really trying to be consistently here for you for at least 55 minutes once a week, every Saturday. And I don't always have things to discuss or fill the hour with, but I'm here. Even if there's nothing to talk about, I'll be here. If you don't have things you want or need to know in the chat, or things you want to talk about, or if I don't have topics prepared, I've got the tarot. I've got cards to help me. I'm going to pull another card. Oh, Wheel of Fortune, anything goes. 7 of Cups, emotionally, anything goes. We've got lots of choices. Lots of choices. That's another thing to be thankful and grateful for. We have choices. In the here and now, we have choices. It's been a little rough recently, and it may get tougher in the year to come. We may have some of those choices. We've already had some choices taken from us, and we may have more choices taken from us, but there's still a number of them out there in and among the gray cloud of confusion. We have things that we can choose that are emotionally helpful. Thank you, Ange. Wheel of Fortune, just roll with it. Jane just recorded a whole video. Unfortunately, she forgot to hit start video. I've had that happen before. Also, I used to do a lot of video walkthroughs overhead with my phone, so you can see the details on the cards better. But fate stepped in one too many times for technical reasons I don't understand, and the phone seemed to have a mind of its own and stopped recording whenever it wanted. And a lot of those times I'd have to re-record my walkthrough, sometimes as many as 3 times. Very frustrating. So even though I don't have the best focus in my videos, I'm hopeful that you all can get a sense of the cards that I show clear enough, and that you can hear and understand me clearly. That's what she did. She was using OBS. Okay. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm terrible at technical stuff. I prefer you this way. It's like we're visiting. Thank you. I like visiting with all of you. Have you ever been in a little visiting situation, though, where you're doing all the talking? That's kind of what it feels like when you do a live stream, particularly if you don't have a pre-planned topic. And the only thing on my mind today was like reflecting on appreciating, giving thanks and gratitude. I can't tell you how much tarot means to me. It's not something I ever really thought was going to be part of my life or a major part of my life. But it's always a place for me to turn when I don't feel like I have a place to turn, or if I need to talk to somebody. Like I said, I'm sort of a soul lonely hermit type. I live alone and have for many years, and I've gotten used to it and very comfortable with it. But every once in a while, I feel like I need somebody to talk to or somebody to ask something of. And tarot has been that for me. And then, wouldn't you know, I find that there's a whole tarot community out there of other people who maybe relate to it the same way. And they've sort of discovered each other, and we've all kind of adopted each other as family. Tarot's a valuable and trustworthy friend for me too, says Ange. Ange only uses her iPhone for making videos and live streaming, and StreamYard for live streams. Well, my iPhone was what I was using, and that's what was cutting off my videos, and I don't know why that was. So I kind of stopped using it. But this is all right. This is where I started out, just with the built-in camera on my Apple laptop. I actually started out doing recordings, pre-recordings, using their photo booth app. And sometimes I still do those if I get a new deck or something that I want to share and don't want to wait for an interactive Saturday. But for the last couple months, I've been doing interactive Saturdays where I look at a new deck with you, though I'm not buying too many decks anymore. Or if I'm not doing looking at a new deck with you, I'm looking at a new idea or concept or something that came to me that I want to share. And I like interacting with you all. It's fun to be able to engage, I think. When I watch TV, sometimes I think, gee, I'd like to have a conversation with the star of that show. I feel a warmness and friendliness from them. I know they're only acting a part, but it feels like somebody I can relate to. And I'd really like to sit and have a conversation with them. And I've gotten friendly with people on other YouTube channels that do live streams where I feel like I can interact with them. I can ask them questions or pose concepts or ideas that they might want to delve into. And that's a neat thing, I think, about YouTube in a way, that you're actually able to interact with people as opposed to a pre-recording or what was the word I was looking for? Oh, a premiere. Well, those are pre-recordings, but the premieres, you can engage with other people in the chat, and often the creator of the video is in the chat too. But it's not the same as being able to ask your host a question and get an instant answer. Anne says, I love visiting you in this space. Feels cozy, and I always wondered about those dolls behind you in that display case. Well, I have discussed them before, and if it were a little easier, I would take the cabinet open and show you one, but it's kind of, they tend to like jiggle and fall when I remove that. My dad created that display cabinet, and it kind of like, you have to shift the plexiglass and lift it out a certain way. And so I don't, they're kind of on display there. I don't really interact with them, but they're porcelain bisque dolls that were created in the 1920s that I picked up at various flea markets. And I refer to that as my orphanage, because they're all little children, usually looking very forlorn or abandoned or stressed or worried. And they're all in there together, and they don't have any moving parts. They don't have moving arms or legs or heads that turn. It's just a solid little sort of monolithic sculpture. And they're usually very kind of wide-eyed, but they do have sort of personality to them. Some people call them frozen Charlottes, but it's still debatable as to whether that's the accurate description of them, because I've also seen other similar but not exactly the same things referred to as frozen Charlottes. And I just call them bisque porcelain dolls. Hello, Eric. I liked a lot the Vandenboer tarot. The Bacchus card and the Spanish Captain card are both so funny. So that's one of the Marseille decks. And I have a few Marseille decks, but I tend to not relate to them so much because I feel like it's odd, actually, that I shouldn't relate to them, because I do love majors only decks. And in a Marseille deck, I can relate to the majors only. It's the pips that I have difficulty with. And it's not that I can't read the pips. I think it's that we don't have scenic depictions in the pip cards, and they just don't feel as relatable to me. It's kind of like the difference Thanksgiving dinner. It's like setting the dinner and setting out the silverware, but there's no plates with food on them. There are no dishes. There's no feast there. It's just the silverware. So you get empty cups and silverware, or maybe empty plates, but you don't get the feast. It's harder for me to visually see what's been prepared and served on the table. So, I mean, I'm thankful and grateful to tarot in any degree, but I do prefer scenic tarot cards. And I'm rather fussy about the kind of imagery that I like, too. I actually appreciate more antique-y looking kind of illustrations rather than contemporary ones. It's funny, actually, because my current favorite deck, aside from my own, is, I can show you a little bit. It's actually a pip deck, but reading it is a little bit less direct than, say, a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Oh, got 3 minutes, couple minutes left to go, and then I'm out of here. Yeah, I carry this. I carry up to 5 decks in my shoulder bag when I go out and go to. Oh, I'm trying to put my cards away in the wrong bag and struggling. It's no wonder it's tight. Yeah, when I go out to the cafe, I bring these cards with me. Isn't that a pretty bag? It's satin with embroidery, like a sort of a wheat pattern. This was made by Carol Herzer, and one of her decks I bought from her came in it, but I've since transferred that to a different bag because I really love, this is probably my favorite tarot bag. It's just like so luxurious. And I have a bag within a bag. SCB's seen me with a few Lenormand decks, still on the fence. I think I'm still on the fence about Lenormand too. I created my own, and I actually share a case with my open face, and my Lenormand deck is in there. And I usually kind of work with them together, but there's something about my Lenormand deck that doesn't feel as warm or soulful somehow. I'm just not getting the same connection. I do have a couple of favorite Lenormand decks, but they just don't, I don't have that same kind of soul connection. So this deck I was telling you about, or started to tell you about, this pip deck, has the most beautiful backs. This is called the Manuscript of Initiations. And it's based on marginalia from medieval manuscripts. If you don't know what marginalia are, they're the little weird, quirky designs in the margins of old medieval manuscripts. And they usually depict surrealistic kind of unusual little creatures and monsters, like with mixed body parts and mixes of animals and humans or animals and plants. Very curious creatures. And I find them fascinating. Stuff like you see in Hieronymus Bosch paintings. And that's the focus of this deck, but it's really a pip deck. So let me pull a couple of cards. So here I've got the Knight of Cups, and in the center of the card we have a Knight of Cups. But you can see we've got little illustrations around the margins too. We've also got some text, which is likely in Latin, but too small to read. But I think it's just a hint or a nod to the direction of medieval manuscripts where secrets were kept, you know. They weren't accessible to everyone in the way they're not really accessible to us here. We can't zoom in and read that text, even if we spoke Latin, read Latin. But we also have these weird little quirky characters, you know, in the margins that may or may not relate to this particular card. I mean, it's all intuitive, and they, generally speaking, aren't intuitive kind of images for me. But I love them. I just love that I know what the Knight of Cups is all about. The cards are clearly labeled. So I can read from the description, the Knight of Cups, and I know how to interpret a Knight of Cups. And then sometimes if I daydream a little at the card, I will see some way that these little figures will intuitively participate. Now, both of these figures seem to be on the move, which a knight generally is. Here's one holding a vessel up, so that's kind of also delivering or presenting a Knight of Cups. I can't tell if that one's holding a shield or a cup. I think it might be a cup, so maybe those are their own little Knights of Cups. Anyway, I like the mystery of this deck and of these cards. And sometimes when you get to know a deck too well, it becomes a little bit on the tedious side. You're like too familiar with it. And this one is often a surprise for me. I like that card, very medieval style. Maybe someone else is getting married. We need to do a live again with those. With the Lenormand or with this? Maybe with, Jane and me, maybe with these. Okay. Well, here's the sun, so we have a major. Now, they don't have as much in the margins, the majors. It's a focus. But yeah, there's a couple other decks like this out there that have gotten a lot more popularity, but I swear by this one. This is my current favorite deck and has been for the last year or so. You know, we're at 104, and at 105, I will have been here an hour and time to go. Just as we're getting momentum and could get into something. I think I'm going to have to call you all back next Saturday, and we'll see where we go. When we used your open face and Lenormand, and we saw Gerald's. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that. So thank you again, everybody, for joining me this week. I hope to see you next week if you're available. Don't know what I'm going to do, but it will be first weekend of December. So there's something to think about there, about gifting or about giving, or about birthing, bringing things into the world. I don't know, maybe we'll just talk about what December makes you think about. And in the meantime, I'll leave you and walk away with the thought of what you are thankful for, or what you need to be thankful for, and how to express gratitude. Or maybe even if you don't express it verbally to those around you, just feel it in your heart and let that energy radiate out through the things you think and feel and do. That seems like a good place to end. So I'm going to end my stream, and happy November, happy Thanksgiving weekend, and happy December coming up. Bye.